I am going to predict.
Today we have the ban list, well, my ban list predictions, because...
Going on, everyone? Live or recording this on...
Alright, so ban list prediction time. Now, I wasn't sure whether I was going to do one of these this time around, considering the ban list predictions that I'm probably going to give are going to seem a lot like the previous ban list prediction video I did, purely because even after, like, I don't even know how long, like 3 or so months, the meta's, like, not changed a lot. There's a few things that are different, but the problems with the previous meta are kind of still the same now. So, yeah, a lot of these decks are ancient, so a lot of this ban list stuff is just going to be very similar to the previous. But I got a lot of comments and messages on Discord, especially after I think Brad uploaded a video and Decay did a live stream for a prediction asking me to do one, so I guess I'll give you guys my useless opinion, as all YouTubers do. Also, if you're wondering why this is kind of like face cam and I'm doing it pseudo live as opposed to my normal content, it's because I'm way too lazy to write a script today, so you get face cam. Alright, let me know if you guys like face cam videos, by the way, because I'm kind of happy to do them if they get lots of support behind them and stuff. Alright, so let's talk bans. So first of all, the latest KC Cup just happened, which you can have a look at the top decks here. And in this top KC Cup rankings, you'll notice a lot of repeating decks. You'll notice we've got Thunder Dragon, then we've got ONOMAT, then we've got ONOMAT, Cyber Dragon, ONOMAT. You know, it just keeps going the same like 3 decks. Because you'll notice like there's occasionally a Ritual Beast, a Lunar Light, but generally the only things you see are Thunder Dragon, ONOMAT, and Cyber Dragon. Another Cyber Dragon, another Thunder Dragon, another ONOMAT, another Thunder. Yeah, it goes on for a bit. ONOMAT, Thunder. There's occasionally the odd Harpie deck and stuff in here, but I'd say Harpies are like would be a close 4th, I think, but it's generally just Thunders, ONOMATs, and Sidras. So I'm pretty sure if Konami look at this ban, or look at these KC Cup results, which we know they do for ban lists, there's a good chance those are the 3 decks they're going to be looked at most. Yeah. Harpies are probably going to be on there too, by the way, they are so common. Even if they are not really considered that topping in tournaments at the moment. I think they're tier 2 on DLM. No, they're in tier 3. But yeah, I think these 3 decks are very likely to be looked at for KC Cup results, as well as probably Harpie, as that is just the majority of the topping decks, and they've been so for quite a while. So let's go through them. So first of all, we have ONOMATS. By the way, if you're expecting, why we're expecting a ban list around this time is because last year around the exact same time we had a ban list. As you'll see from this one, yeah, September 28th, around the same time last year we had a ban list, and it was a massive one. We got tons of stuff on here. We got Star Blast, and we had a ton of other stuff, including a Thunder Dragon card actually being released, but yeah. Alright, so ONOMATS. This deck is obviously problematic. It's very clearly the best deck in the game at the moment. It's not necessarily a ridiculously powerful deck, as there were decks that were stronger before it. Like, this deck was tier 2 for a long time. But as it currently stands, this deck is beyond the best at the moment. And nerfing it is kind of hard. There's a lot of Ultra Rares and SRs in here, and we've already hit it a bunch of times anyway. So we've got 2 on Sister, 2 on Head. It's kind of a rough deck to try to hit. And I think the main issue with it, obviously, is the fact that we have a skill that can search for any of the cards in here. So even though in both these cards are limited to, well, basically limited to 1, it doesn't matter. You can search them whenever you like. If you want this turn 1, you can have it turn 1. If you want this turn 2 after your board's been wiped, you can search for it. So I think the main issue with this deck isn't going to be about the cards, it's going to be a skill nerf. I think most likely, unless Konami are going to go for the full-on gutting approach of just being like, screw ONOMATs, we never want them to be meta again, just making it so the extra deck has to be all like Utopia or ONOMAT cards or Gaga cards or whatever. Unless they're going to go down that approach, they're probably just going to take away the fact this skill can be used twice a duel. Because obviously, using it turn 1 gives you a guaranteed like Sister into Bowser start, and if you take away the fact they can be used a second time, if you wipe their turn 1 board, they can't just search for a head, refill it up again. So making it only used once will heavily hit this deck. It just means that it'll be like an all-in strat. It'll probably just cut head completely and go back to the Rhino play that it used to do, using this dude. This guy will probably go back in the deck and it'll be something like that. And it'll be a lot more all-in and definitely worse. As for hits to the deck though, I'm not really sure they can really hit a whole lot, as there isn't really a whole lot that would just affect the deck, since the skill just searches for everything. You can hit do draw, is not a bad hit. If you put that to 2, obviously it can no longer be run in the deck. But that's like the only cheap card to hit to, so maybe draw, but I think the main thing to look out for will be the skill. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. Alright, then we have Cyber Dragon. Now this one is a pain in the ass to nerf, and I have no idea what they can do to this. Because the main issue with this deck is, as you'll see, they're just not running monsters. Konami tried to deal with this by putting this to 2 last time, but it didn't work. They're just not running any monsters. This is not how the Cyber Dragon deck is meant to look. You're just playing core and a billion spell cards because you can just make monsters with your skill. And no matter how much you limit this deck, unless you're willing to make core like limited to 2 as well and fully gut the deck, it's just not going to change. The issue is Cyberstyle. Cyberstyle is been an issue since it's released. It's been nerfed like 3 or 4 times, and it's just such a busted skill. It's just, I don't understand it. So I think the main thing that needs to be perhaps changed in some way would be the skill. How you change it, I don't know. Honestly, I'd be happy if they completely gutted this deck and then went for a more Cyber Dragon Xyz support later down the line, maybe in a structure deck, so we get to see all the cool Cyber Dragon Xyz cards that exist that currently cannot be released, because even if they were released, nobody would play them. You just play this variant because it's already strong. Because there's so many Cyber Dragon cards out there. But there's actually just so many Cyber Dragon Xyz cards and stuff that could be released and cool support, but we're just not going to get any of it, because at the moment we're just playing no monsters skill variant. It's so boring. So personally, I'd like them to gut the skill. I have no interest in it anymore. I think this deck it's had its time in the limelight. It's been, I don't know, it's been been around since this card was probably released in like 2019, so like it's about time it gets probably removed, and I think it should be the skill that gets touched. Other than that, the other option will be to maybe hit the shit out of Fusion Gate, since it's an ancient card now. It is an ultra rare, so Konami don't really like hitting ultra rares, but it is a bit old now. It's ancient. It's literally first box ever kind of a card. So Fusion Gate could be limited to 2 to match these 3, and that would basically completely remove it from the deck. And if it's removed from the deck, I don't know, they could probably have to start running some fucking monsters again. I don't know. Yeah, I think Fusion Gate is the only other potential hit, because they're not hitting core. You can't hit core. There's no point to hitting, like, I don't know, the Cyber Dragon. What's the point in hitting that? You don't even need it in the deck. So yeah, this is just, you either hit the skill or you hit Gate. That's the only 2 options available. And I'm pretty sure I'm leaning more towards the skill being changed in some way. Not sure what they do to it, but yeah. If this gets gutted, you shouldn't be disappointed. It's been around for literally forever. Alright, Thunder Dragon. Another deck that's very interesting to nerf. So around this time last year, you'll notice Thunder Dragon Dark came off the ban list. So I'm expecting there's a high chance, let me just zoom in here so it gets rid of some of the ads. Or not. What the? Hello? Thank you, DLM. Sick advertising, guys. Alright. Anyway. Yeah, so around this time last year, Dark came off the ban list. So I think there's a good chance that this time Dark will go back on there. I think if Konami were willing to limit it once, they're probably willing to limit it again. And it would heavily screw over the deck a lot. So every Thunder Dragon deck that you see being played in meta, it's either running 2 Sarcophagus or running 2 of the, I have forgotten the name of it. What is it called? Lightsworn. 2 of the Lightsworn spell, and you've got Raiden. So you guys know what I mean. The Lightsworn spell and Raiden. And the Lightsworn spell is currently limited to 2. So you put Dark to 2, it obviously matches with Gold Sark and the Light Sworn spell, making it so that probably the Light Sworn spell and Gold Sark have to be removed from the deck, which should affect it heavily. And if they want to affect it even more and really be a pain to the deck, Lupine will probably get looked at as well. I'm not sure how harsh they want to be with this deck, because there's a lot of stuff in here that's expensive, like Levianeer you probably don't want to touch. I'm pretty sure Hawk is a box card too, Karibo's a box card. So I'm pretty sure Lupine is heavily in the firing line, along with Dark, because it's a Mokuba drop, and it mashes with Gold Sark and the other one. So depending on how harsh they want to be to this deck, you should expect maybe Lupines to 2, Darks to 2, or Lupines to 3 and Darks to 3, something like that. Something where the deck's going to now mash with each other. Either way, it's probably going to be these 2 cards, I suspect, to be looked at. Yeah, I don't think Raw is the look. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Dark and Lupine. So mash heavily with them. But yeah, this deck is... if this deck isn't on the ban list, I'm going to be really disappointed. I'm not sure... I shouted out in a video before how old this deck is in terms of tier list history, but it's been around for... It's dropped on and off for a while, but my god is it ancient. Thunder Dragon, how old is this? This thing has been tiered for... Alright, it's been tiered since... or on and off tiered since March of 2020. Like, it's been... It's time to go, okay? It's been here a long time. Let's get rid of it. Especially with coming into the new world, we want some new stuff. Alright, so I think those are the main 3 decks that are going to be hit. Other than that, we've got maybe Harpie, I think has a good chance just because it was super popular in KC Cup. These others didn't really get that much play. Maybe Resonator's skill might get looked at, but I'm pretty sure mostly the only other one's going to be Harpie. Alright, oh my god, all these adverts. Come on, DLM. Yeah, so Harpie, I think, basically a subtle nerf, because this deck is very... It's already unlikely to kind of be nerfed, I feel, but if it is, it'll be a very soft looking nerf, I'd imagine. And I think the easiest one to be would be Elegant Egotist to 2, because this card has to be run at least 2 in Harpie Lady, and it'll just make Treacherous removed from the deck. That's literally it. Every list I'm pretty sure runs Treacherous. Let me just have a look at a couple of them. Pretty sure just about every list is running Treach. I say is, that one isn't. That one's running Treach. Okay. Way to prove me wrong. Yeah, a bunch of lists are running Treach. Do they have like a breakdown thing on this website? Have a look. 2 Treach and 43%. So you make sure those 43% of decks can no longer run Treacherous Trap Hole, as well as whatever other limited to 2 cards exist. Because I don't actually think this deck needs that much of a nerf. It's reasonably okay right now. Even if it was top tier, I feel like there's a good chance that, like it is now, it will get power crept to a point where there'll be decks above it and it won't be too overpowering for the meta. So I don't really care if this big deck becomes like the new best deck after all the other ones above it get nerfed. That's just my take personally. Alright, and outside of that, in terms of further bans outside of that, I feel like the only other card that has... This might be a bit of a hot take, but the only other card that really has a good chance of seeing ban list hits, outside of maybe the Forbidden of Treacherous Trapper, which I'm sure everyone has put their say in whether or not that should be forbidden. We don't know. This could get forbidden, who knows. They were willing to do it to Trinade, so maybe they'll do it to Tretch as well. If they do, good for them, but I'm not going to bother with that one, that's obvious. The one that has a very high chance of getting hit, though, would be the other Trap Hole. Where is it? Okay, come on. There we go. Floodgate Trap Hole. So the reason this card has such a high chance of being hit soon is because, for those of you that don't know how Pendulum works, which I personally don't really know how they work either, I don't play TCG, but I do know that this card is a huge counter to them. So with Pendulum coming out soon, if a Pendulum deck becomes meta, this card will become skyrocket in playability, simply because this card is already heavily playable, as you'll see, and it's played everywhere. Look at the top 100 global. You already see half the decks are playing it. So, Floodgate Trap Hole whenever you try to do a pendulum summon, the monsters you summon all summon at the same time. Floodgate Trap Hole flips monsters to face down defense position that are like any monsters that summon. So when your opponent summons a monsters, so multiple. So if your opponent pendulum summons, they summon all their monsters. Floodgate Trap Hole, every single monster he summons, it just went face down, and they're not coming back up. And that's basically your opponent's duel's just over. What's he gonna do? He's already got 2 of his back row filled up. Like, is he gonna tribute summon? So yeah, this card personally, if they limit this to 2, or that's probably fine. I personally, this is never going to happen. This is just dream world. This is pure copium right here. I would have Floodgate Trap Hole banned. I hate the card. I think it's extremely unfun. Probably the most unfun card they've ever released. It is just so boring. The entire goal of it is just to make your opponent have a dead card in their 3-slot board. You've got a 3-slot game, and one of your slots is taken up by potentially a dead card. Not every deck has like a tribute summon, and even if they do, who tribute summons? If you're tribute summoning, you've probably lost the game. It's like, are we playing Monarchs? Is that what you expect us to run? It's just so bad. This card just stops XC summoning, stops pendulum summoning. It's so bad for the new world. It's terrible. Like, unless we're playing fusion decks, I guess, but even then, it flips like Lunalight stuff face down too. Like, it's just so annoying. So yeah, it also means that running I'm not sure like this is necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, but it also means when you're playing decks that are supposed to counter certain metas, so decks like Lunalight are being played a lot right now to counter targeting metas, so people playing ONOMATS can't really deal with Lunalights all that well. But they can just play this card because it counters the fact Lunalights are untargetable because this thing's non-target. So it kind of fills that void. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing in this particular case. A lot of the time it's good to have particular counters to certain things. But I don't know about this one. This card is just so unfun. I think I prefer a counter they also use, I think it's like Void Trap Hole, which I feel like is such a much more healthier counter than just flip your opponent's boss monster face down and just not be able to use that slot kind of shit. I don't know. Either way, that should be it for my little ban list prediction. Let me know if you guys agree with me or if you disagree. This comments section is going to be an absolute shit show. Also, let me know if you like this kind of video with just me kind of talking to the mic without any script or cool little edits on screen or anything. Let me know if you enjoy it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, comment if you have any questions or feedback. Yeah, make sure to subscribe though, that's the important one. We're nearly at 50k, very close, so appreciate all the support guys. Yeah, laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.